Assis Misra from Federal University of Para, Brazil, and he will speak on representation theory of partition algebras for complex reflection groups. Yeah, Dr. Assis, you may start now.
Okay, thank you, Deepankar. First of all, I would like to thank organizers for this conference and for giving me this opportunity to present my work here. The results presented in this talk form a part of a joint work with Dr. Shraddha Srivastava. Please forgive me if I seem sleepy during the talk. It's 3:30 in the morning here. So let us begin. Okay. So yesterday there was a talk by Digjoy where he talked about classical Schur-Weyl duality and partition algebras. So I will not revise classical Schur-Weyl duality. Let me start with partition monoids. So partition algebras were actually defined by Jones and Martin in the early 1990s. Both defined them independently as a generalization of temporally Lieb algebras and as a generalization of Potts model from higher dimensional statistical mechanics. So let us see what are partition algebras. For a non-negative integer k, let us define ak to be the set of all set partitions of 1 up to k and 1 prime up to k prime. What we mean by this is that elements of ak are set of subsets of 1 up to k and 1 prime up to k prime. These are disjoint subsets and their union is this set 1 up to k, 1 prime up to k prime. And the elements of A can be actually depicted as graphs. It is easier to think about them in this way. And these graphs are called partition diagrams. The vertices in this graph are 1 up to k in the top row and 1 prime up to k prime in the bottom row. When we consider an element of AK, it is a set of subsets, disjoint subsets, and each subset is called a block. The elements in the block are connected by a path, and those form the edges in the graph. We will see an example in the next slide. First, I want to finish these definitions. Okay, so we can make AK a monoid with the multiplication where we multiply two partition diagrams by concatenating these diagrams, and we remove all those blocks which are entirely in the middle. Okay, and this makes it a monoid, and this monoid is called partition monoid. Let us see an example. So for these D1 and D2 are elements of A4. D1 is 1 to 1 prime, 3 3 prime, 4 to 4 2 prime, 4 prime. So let us see, this 1 to 1 prime is a block. So here these are connected. 3 3 prime is a block, 4 is a single block, and 2 prime and 4 prime are connected. And in a similar way, we depict D2 also. The lower row of D1 and the upper row of D2 are identified and the multiplication is done. Like here 1 to 1 prime, and this 1 prime is identified with 1, 1 goes to 2 prime, 3 prime. So in the multiplication, it is this block 1 to 2 prime, 3 prime. And in this way, we do the multiplication. But notice here that there is a block here which is entirely in the middle, 2 prime, 4 prime, and 2, 4. So this block is actually removed. Okay. So this is the way of multiplication in partition monoids. Let us see what are partition algebras. Partition algebras are vector spaces with these elements of AK as basis. These elements are called partition diagrams. So this basis is called diagram basis. Okay, and the multiplication is defined using the multiplication which we defined in the partition monoid, but we have a complex number q which denotes the deformation. So this L, so the multiplication d1 d2 is actually q raised to power L d1 circle d2, where d1 circle d2 is the concatenation in the partition monoid, and q raised to power L, where L is the number of blocks which are removed from the middle while computing d1 circle d2. Like in the last example, this L will be 1. So in the last example, d1 d2 will be q d1 circle d2. This algebra is called the partition algebra. And of course, we have defined a basis, which is, we have defined it with a basis, which is the diagram basis. However, partition algebras has another important basis, which is called orbit basis. And in fact, orbit basis sometimes prove to be more useful rather than the diagram basis. So for that, first we define partial order on the partition monoid for any two elements D and D prime in the partition monoid. D prime is said to be less than equal to D if D prime is coarser as a set partition than D, which means that if I and J are in the same block in D, I and J should be in the same block in D prime, which means that blocks in D prime are obtained by union of some blocks in D. Okay. Using this partial order, we define, given an element D in AK, we define the unique element XD in the partition algebra by D is equal to taking the sum over all D prime, which are less than equal to D, and the sum over corresponding XD prime. So the transition matrix between the diagram basis and these elements XD is an upper triangular matrix with ones on the main diagonal, and therefore this XD is also a basis. This is called orbit basis of partition algebra. We will see the use of it later in the talk. Okay. So Schur-Weil duality. Jones actually proved the Schur-Weil duality between the partition algebra and the symmetry group while acting on the k-fold tensor product of V, where V is the n-dimensional complex vector space. So Sn can be considered as a subgroup of permutation matrices of GLNC. GLNC acts naturally on this n-dimensional complex vector space, and therefore Sn acts. And similarly, we can define an action of the partition algebra on this V tensor K. I will not go into that definition. Okay. So symmetry groups are a particular family of complex reflection groups. What are complex reflection groups? A reflection in a complex vector space W, in a finite dimensional complex vector space W, is a linear transformation of finite order that fixes a hyperplane. A complex reflection group is generated by reflections in this vector space W, and this complex reflection group is said to be irreducible if the orthogonal complement of the fixed point space is actually irreducible. So an important question is, what is the partition algebra for the complex reflection groups? Of course, complex reflection groups include all the symmetry groups, include Weil group of type Dn, includes Weil group of type Dn, includes Weil group of type G2 also, includes dihedral group. So this is an important question. So let us see. So first of all, we define what is the group GRPN. So our parameters R, P, M, and N are positive integers, where we assume that P actually divides R and M is R by P. So GRPN can be considered as a subgroup of GLNC. It consists of generalized permutation matrices with non-zero entries being RF roots of unity, and the mth power of the product of non-zero entries is 1. Okay. There are other ways of seeing this group GRPN, but let us, for this talk, we fix this way of seeing GRPN. Okay, in 1954, Shepard and Todd classified finite irreducible complex reflection groups, and they showed that GRPN is actually the only infinite family of irreducible finite complex reflection groups. There are 34 more finite complex reflection groups, but GRPN is the only infinite family. So let us see. Let us see what was already known before our work regarding the partition algebra for GRPN. So Tanabe in 1997 described the centralizer algebra of the action of GRPN on V tensor K. And the partition algebra for GR1N was actually defined by Orellana in 2007. So what we do in our work, we actually define partition algebra for GRPN for any divisor P of R. And our work, as it was recently published in Algebraic Combinatorics, it is titled On Representation Theory of Partition Algebras for Complex Reflection Groups. Let us see the definition of this partition algebra. So let us fix a block B of a partition diagram D, and NB is the number of elements in block B in the top row of D, and MB is the number of elements in the block B in bottom row of D. Pi KR is the set of, so now we define 3 subsets of AK, which will be helpful in defining the partition algebra for complex reflection groups. So the first subset is pi kr. Pi kr is the set of all elements in AK such that for each block Bi, the number of elements in the top row and the number of elements in the bottom row, their difference is actually divisible by R, and this happens for each block. Then the next set is lambda k RPN. Uh, this consists of all those elements in AK which have exactly n blocks, okay, and the difference of the number of elements in the top row of each block and the number of elements in the bottom row of each block is actually divisible by m. Remember, m is r by p, but this difference is actually not divisible by r for all I. Okay. However, the difference of differences is actually divisible by r for each I and j. Okay. And then there is this theta set, theta k RPN. This consists of all elements in AK which have more than n blocks. Again, the difference is divisible by m, difference between the number of elements in the top row in each block and the number of elements in the bottom row in that block is divisible by m. However, there exists at least one block where this difference is not divisible by r. So define AKRPN to be union of these disjoint subsets of AK, phi kr, lambda krpn, and theta krpn. Now, this tkrpn is actually the complex span of orbit basis. Notice that here we take orbit basis elements corresponding to D. It's not diagram basis elements. When Orellana defined for P is equal to 1 case, she was using diagram basis elements. However, when you go for any divisor P of R where P is not necessarily 1, one has to use orbit basis. And it is important to note that for the case P is equal to 1, these two vector spaces, span of orbit basis elements and span of diagram basis elements, actually turn out to be the same. Okay, so this is the first theorem in our paper, that the vector space, this TKRPN, is actually a subalgebra of partition algebra. The multiplication of XD, or multiplication of orbit basis elements, is actually not so visible easily and it requires some work. And the multiplication of these elements was actually first published by Arun Ram in his notes, which are, those are published on his website, but not published in any journal. So this appeared in our work and also in the work of Halvorsen and Bankert. So we call this TKRPN Tanabe algebra in honor of Tanabe, who first worked on centralizer algebra for GRP. Okay. So in Schur-Weil duality, the usual consequence is that the representation theory of one object is actually connected to the representation theory of the other object. So both complex reflection groups and Tanabe algebras, their representation theory become connected. And actually a combinatorial object, MP necklaces of Young diagrams, play a fundamental role in their representation theory. However, we will not define it here for the lack of time. So let us see further results, which are the important results. Of course, the first important result is that this Tanabe algebra is in Schur-Weil duality with this complex reflection group while acting on k-fold tensor product. The decomposition of the centralizer algebra into irreducible modules, and then using Schur-Weil duality, double centralizer theorem, we parameterize the irreducible modules of Tanabe algebras. When we construct the Bratelli diagram recursively for the tower of Tanabe algebras, of course, here we need more, something called half Tanabe algebras. However, since the talk, in the talk, we just focused on the partition algebra for GRPN. So in this case, the Bratelli diagram turns out to be a simple graph. And whenever Bratelli diagram is a simple graph, we have UC Murphy elements and Gelfand-Zetlin basis. And actually we find out these UC Murphy elements of Tanabe algebras and give their actions on Gelfand-Zetlin basis. And finally, since the representation theory of one object is connected to the representation theory of another object, so there must be some results which were missing on the side of complex reflection groups. And for that, we actually construct a specific basis of irreducible GRPN modules using Okonoko-Vershik approach, Clifford theory, and Higher-Speck polynomials, and apply this construction to actually determine the branching rule. Now, there is a subgroup of GRPN which plays an important role in the whole theory, and we need to know the branching rule from GRPN to that subgroup. So with this, I will finish. Thank you.
Thank you, Asis.